What's up, guys? Welcome back to Boost Brothers Garage. In this episode, this guy's back. We're gonna do a little question and answer session based on some stuff that you guys posted on social media. And what else?
Go old school?
What do you mean?
Drinking game?
Drinking game. Ha-ha! Cheers, my friends. Stay tuned. What do you think the rules should be? What are our 3 words? And you guys should most certainly play along.
So I think one of them has to be 07K, right?
Based on the questions we got, there were a lot of 07K questions.
We can't pronounce shit.
Nah. Speaking of old school. So yeah, we'll do 07K. I think we should do Cayman, certainly.
There will probably be a couple Cayman questions.
Yep.
And
944?
but what about finish?
Okay.
Finish.
Because we don't ever finish anything, so.
Finish might be a good one.
Finish, 07K, and Cayman.
Yeah.
Those are our 3 words.
We're about to be super
intoxicated. So it's Father's Day. That's when we're filming right now.
Happy Father's Day to the new father.
Appreciate it. Happy Father's Day to any of you guys out there that are fathers. Luckily, the wife let me sneak away this evening, and we're enjoying ourselves. We're having a few drinks. We're in the shop. We're playing with cars, and we're having a good time. So it's been a pretty good day thus far.
Great day.
So let's dive into it. I took screenshots of all these questions. The first question comes from Chad Legault. What ECU are you going to run? This is on the 07K. Hope that wasn't covered already. It was covered, but that's okay. We're going to be running a ECU from Performance Electronics. That's that sign back there, PE3. I'll post a link below. We go into all that in a video. Check that out if you want to. Next up from Steve, how do you think you pronounce his last name? Buchholz? Butchels? I don't think it's Butchels.
It's 2 H's, which makes it very, very difficult. Buchholz, I'm going to go with German.
Yeah, Steve Buchholz.
So if someone was looking for a Lambo header,
also
how would you
07K.
recommend that person find one? I feel like you're getting aggressive already.
But okay.
Okay.
So the way I found my Lambo header was on eBay. I'll post the part number in the description below. And basically on the eBay app, I went in and I made a notification so that anytime that part number was listed on eBay, I would get a notification.
But a lot of people, well, maybe not for a Lambo, but I don't feel like people always list parts on eBay by part number, do they?
For that, they almost always had the Lamborghini part number. But they were a pretty vast range of price, anywhere between like $550 and $800. I think some people were asking for over $1,000 for this header, which was
you kind of have to when somebody might use it as like a pocket pussy.
I mean, it's pretty, but I thought that was obscene for what it was, and I just refused to pay that. So basically, I kept most of those listings had buy it now or best offer. So I was just starting low, offering people $200. They would come back and go back to $550 most of the time, and a lot of time just stick right there and not go below. But I was just persistent, and I kept doing it and kept doing it and kept doing it, and I ended up getting it for $375 shipped. So if I had to tell you how to do it, I would just do exactly what I did. It worked out. I think that header's worth $375. That's not pocket change by any means, but it's all stainless tubular header,
but it's probably being used exclusively for swap kits. I mean, there can't be many Lambos that are needing to replace their header.
Right. So these guys that have them, I can't imagine that they're selling them very often at all. So you just got to find someone that's motivated to sell it.
And Steve
Buchholz.
Yep.
Butchels again.
Buchholz. Sorry, Steve, by the way.
Yeah.
Why did you decide to wrap the Lambo header instead of using a ceramic thermal barrier coating?
That's a fair question.
Broke. Hashtag broke.
Yeah, so ceramic coating obviously is the right thing to do. Damian Kirk is another guy that's doing this swap. He's using that header. He's getting it ceramic coated. Ultimately, that's the best bet, especially if you're going to be going the turbo route. For me, the car that it's going in, the budget 944 race car, which, I mean, I don't...
Budget, basket case.
I don't think you guys understand how little money we have invested in this. It is just our track rat. And I just don't want to put a new engine in it with a bunch of shiny, polished bits and ceramic coated this.
It wouldn't fit the car.
It wouldn't fit the car at all. So
I mean, we tractor painted it.
We did use tractor paint. I'll post that video.
Yeah.
I think that the wrap fits the overall theme of the build better. And personally, I just think it looks awesome.
I do too.
Always really like the looks of exhaust wrap.
Me too. Tombo Conklin. So Tom hyphen Bo. Tombo. Must be from Kentucky. Anyway, thanks for the question, Tom. What's your dream build with no budget or time constraints?
I mean, that's a great question.
I'm gonna have to come back to that.
I need some time to think about that.
And probably more drinks, because...
Let's make that the last question of the video.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Any car, any budget, any time frame, what will we build?
It'd probably never be done, I'm guessing. So.
Certainly. All right, we'll come back to that one.
All right, Built by Pizza.
Which, I mean, if anyone can appreciate a guy whose name is Built by Pizza, it's this guy.
Yeah. How many cars y'all got total? What is the average number of beers consumed per video?
Beers consumed by video, I would say that this video is certainly upping that average.
Yep.
I think that realistically, a good average is probably 3 beers per video. Per person. There's some I don't drink any beers.
There's some that, so 3, yeah.
There's some I drink 12 beers.
Yeah, that's probably, 4, I'd say 4.
3 to 4 beers per person per video is probably a good average.
Yeah, and how many cars do we have?
Well, I'm gonna do this 2 ways. I'm gonna do how many cars do we currently have, and how many cars have we ever owned. I think that he's gonna have to sit and add it up in his head. He's had a lot. I think that I've had 18 or 19 total cars.
I can't. I'd be here all night if I tried.
You're over 30 for sure.
I'm probably 40.
Probably closer to 40. Currently, I have the wide body 944. I have the 944 race car. I have a Porsche 914 shell that is nowhere near being finished. It had been a while. I mean,
needed to happen.
I have my daily driver company car, which is a Honda Accord, and my wife has a Acura MDX.
And I have a 2006 Lexus GX 470 as a daily. Great car, by the way. Hopefully sometime
we'll do some more stuff on that. There's a lot of stuff that we'd like to do to it, and there's a lot of really cool content that could be created around
like a
overlanding and things we could do to it.
That's also...
Oh, like I forgot a car. I'm sorry. I also have my 95 F-150 just shop truck that I tow the race car with, and that's something that ultimately I would love to throw a small lift and some wheels and tires on so that we could go do some overlanding camping stuff.
Yeah. I have the 2008 E92 M3. I still have that.
That's depressing to talk about.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, it's been just a money pit, and I've put off right now. The throttle actuators are out, and instead of fixing them and selling the car, I kind of just parked it and was like, I don't want to think about this car anymore. So anyway, I finally ordered the parts. I'm going to get those in. We're going to get it fixed, and I'm going to sell it. And for whoever gets it, they're probably going to get a pretty solid deal because I've fixed every known issue on that platform.
Right.
But I just can't keep putting money into it. So yeah, I have that.
Not only that, but at some point the Cayman build has got to get finished.
Yeah, and that's...
Yeah, at some point the Cayman build needs to just continue forward, and
Yeah,
the
but I bought
the
a
budget
house.
has been a huge constraint.
I bought a house. It's coming, but regardless. So I have that, and then I have the 06 Cayman S. Like I said, my plan is to get rid of the E92. I'll have the Lexus, the Cayman, and I'll probably keep my eye open for the next 6-12 months. I'd really like to pick up a budget friendly E36 M3. That's a long-term track car build that I have my mind on. So
yeah, I think ultimately the wide body 944 and the Cayman are going to be kind of like one car do it all type things where we can drive them on the street, we can hit up Cars and Coffee, we can take them to the track, but we're not really going to want to just go abuse them on the track all the time. So having the 944 race car, the budget car, and him having a budget E36 M3, those would be the real workhorses on the track.
And it would also be great to have two track cars at the track to where if one went down, the other can jump in and you know.
Because right now we're sharing the 944 and
it's so expensive to even go race. Take the car out of the equation. I mean, tires and consumables, but it's very expensive. Just the weekend itself, paying for hotels and paying for the track.
It's $1,000 weekend.
Yeah, so to go out there and do it, like I didn't race at Putnam. Thank God I didn't race at Putnam.
Because I blew the car up.
Yeah, I mean, so he got what, 2 sessions?
2.5
sessions in and blew the car up. So you're talking everybody wasted, you know, a couple $1,000s because the car went down. That's a long-term goal there.
Before we get to the next question, I want to thank my buddy Daniel Wray from D Ray's Garage.
Go check him out.
Yeah, check him out. Pretty cool YouTube channel.
He's got a really cool Spider.
He's got an awesome 987 Boxster Spider. But anyway, I want to thank him for this Yeti koozie. The only problem with these Yeti koozies is when you drink beer as fast as me.
We drink way too fast.
They're kind of a pain in the ass.
Yeah, that's why I've switched to mixed drinks. Last longer.
Cheers. Salud.
You finish them too quick. Wait, we said finish and missed it, didn't we? Oh yeah. So I said it 3 times?
Twice. 3?
I'm not sure, but I think we should take 3 drinks.
Cheers.
Let's go to Vosmark.
Vosmark.
What's your estimate for total cost or 07K build? I think he means 4.
Right.
Drink.
07K.
This asshole put it in there twice.
A drink again.
Will 07K have AC? Interesting build considering to have one like that for myself, a daily car. Can't be without AC though, thanks. So basically, he likes the idea of it. He wants to know if it's going to be running AC.
And what the total cost is. So I'm keeping track of all of the cost involved for the swap, which is something that I never, ever suggest any of you guys do.
And he's doing it because he's got to keep track of where it's being hidden from his wife, so.
But yeah, don't ever keep track of how much a build costs. It's super depressing. Realistically, I think I'm on track for the swap to come in all in, engine, components, tuning, everything, to be about $8,000. That's obviously a lot of money.
When he said it to me, I said that seems kind of high, but once he broke it down compared to like an LS swap, it kind of starts to make it a little more serious.
Anyway, I mean that's where I'm going to be at. That's all brand new parts. I mean, besides the header being used, but it's new everything. My exhaust setup alone, if you were to modify and reuse the factory header and then just convert it to the factory exhaust, you could save a good $500 over the crazy exhaust system I'm doing. So there are ways to cut costs. I think you could do it for below $7,000 if you really tried.
Gotta finish strong.
Finish strong. As far as
We just need to finish something.
As far as the AC is concerned, currently we are not installing AC on either of the development cars. I think it's 100% doable. There's so much space on the passenger side of the engine that there's no problem, there's no spatial constraints with adding an AC compressor in there. We would just have to, or someone would just have to develop the AC bracket, which Spencer Saccone, I think that's how you pronounce his last name. He's one of the guys that's doing this swap as well, and he's actually currently developing an AC compressor bracket. Yes, it's doable. No, it's not 100% plug and play at this point.
We're to Spencer, speaking of which, and he gave us a few questions. Number one, how did you get into 944s, and which intercooler and radiator setup are you planning on running after the 07K NA test?
How did I get into 944s?
Yeah, that's it. So 07K?
07K. I started to get into 944s in high school. A buddy of mine, a good friend Alex, had a white, which God, I love white cars, in a 944. I fell in love with the overall shape of the car then. And then when I went to college, I met another guy, ended up being really good buddies with him, Brian. Brian had a black 944 turbo. It had suspension work, it had some brake stuff done to it, it had Lindsay Racing exhaust. We installed a Lindsay Racing boost enhancer. The wastegate was dumped to atmosphere, and it was really it was 100% my first experience with a turbo Porsche, but it was one of my first experiences with turbo cars in general. And I mean, I just absolutely fell in love with this car. We had so much fun in that thing. From the day I sat in that car and we took it for the first rip, I just had to have one.
Which intercooler and radiator setup are you running after the 07K NA test?
The 07K NA, believe it or not, is going to remain NA. I've decided that I'm not going to turbo it. I'm going to have the wide body car that's going to be turboed. I really like the idea of keeping the race car as naturally aspirated and turning it into like a really high revving NA build.
And reliable.
Yeah. So we can just beat it on track. When we have buddies that are around that don't have a car to track, we can just throw them the keys to that. We just don't have to worry about it. So the first iteration is going to be just the stock 07K with the Lambo header and the 9X engineering intake. So it'll probably be a little over 200 crank horsepower, I don't know, 225 maybe. After that, the next iteration, phase 2, I'm gonna pull the engine back out. I'm gonna put high compression pistons in it. I believe the integrated engineering 11-to-1s. I'm gonna put cams in it, and I'm gonna do ITBs. And I'm just gonna do an all out 9,000 RPM, 280 plus horse
Beautiful
NA build.
sounding.
Oh, just amazing sound. And for the time being, I fully plan on running the factory 944 radiator. However, if you're looking for a good radiator for the 944 platform, what I just purchased for the wide body car is a Griffin universal 3-inch aluminum radiator. It doesn't perfectly fit. It's going to take some modification, but it's like $200 instead of spending $800 on the like Wizard or whoever makes them drop-in 3-inch aluminum radiators. So I'll post the part number to that below. You can check it out. Real soon I'm going to do a video on the wide body car of fabricating and setting up the entire intercooler and radiator setup on that to show all that.
Spencer's next question is, how long did the first oil pan take to machine on the CNC?
I don't 100% know the answer to that question. I mean, it was a couple hours, I'm sure, but I wasn't there when that happened. We basically gave the CAD models to the guys to do all the machine work. They built all of the programming for the CNC mill to do the work, and then they knocked the first one out for us. So we're gonna parlay all of that time and money that goes into creating that CNC program into the next batch we make for the 20 or so people that have already bought these kits to try to bring the overall cost of the oil pan down. R&H Fab, next question. Actually not a question. How about let's work on the Cayman? Happy Father's Day, guys. Oh man, I get it. I
Trust
understand.
me, let me take my drink.
Yeah, I wish that we could be working on the Cayman.
Michael's
every
on
second
me
of
all
day.
the time for it, and I apologize, guys, but like I said,
I don't think you fully understand the very small budget that both of us are on for all of these builds, first off. And second off, just really how much it costs to do a flat six build.
Just to
especially,
assemble, just to get the components we need to finish assembling the engine is
we're talking
$3,000.
Yeah, thousands of dollars of components. We have specialty tools that we either have to buy or try to borrow from
that
someone.
has nothing to do with engine management or anything that comes, and we still have to finish the turbo kit. So,
Sometimes it's a little overwhelming.
It's very overwhelming, and to be honest, it's not something that's going to just be done quickly.
Moving on, and I'm just going to go ahead and throw this out there. I think that we're going to end up having way more fun filming this video than any of them watching it.
I'm already feeling like that's the case.
Unless they really follow our rules to a T, and then, maybe you'll have as much fun drinking every time we say 07K, Cayman, finished. That's 3. Devin Wenzel wants to know 2.5 coolant routing for swap and how the oil pan is going to work. He just wants all the 2.5 swap updates. Coolant routing, we're not 100% sure yet. We know that on the back of the engine, the factory flange and stud setup for the coolant inlet or outlet, whatever it is, we're going to have to develop a new part for that.
Wait, you said 07K.
I did say 07K. Yeah. So we're going to laser cut a flange. We're going to use a 90. We're going to recreate that part. No big deal. Beyond that, we're going to have to figure it out, and that's part of the plumbing stuff that's going to have to be done after the engine is fully inserted in the car, and that's going to be done real soon, so stay tuned. How is the oil pan going to work? We are taking the factory cast aluminum upper, we are machining the front of it off so that it fits with the stock cross member. We are taking sheet metal parts, aluminum parts, having them laser cut and bent, and then we're re-welding that all up to create a new upper. And then for the factory lower, we're ditching that completely and we're creating a whole new lower sump with baffles and all the things it needs to be a true motorsports oil pan. Also potentially looking into developing a full dry sump setup for it, but that's going to be a little bit down the road.
That makes my pants change direction. Forced Productions wants to know, what is your target price point for the finalized 07K swap kit?
That's a bit of an open-ended question. It depends on if you want to do NA or turbo. I think realistically, for the vast majority of the hard components to just get the engine in the car, we're looking for like a, I don't know, roughly $5,000 price point for that. You add in the turbo components and engine management, yada, 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 you're probably looking at another $2,500 would be my guess. So realistically, all in on the absolute lowest end side that I could think you could fit an NA in the car, using some used components and doing fabrication yourself, etc., probably $6,500. And I think if you fully build the engine and you go turbo and you're looking for 500 plus wheel horsepower, you could be in the $10,000 to $12,000 range.
Justin Jerome asks, how much?
He's a firsty.
He's a what?
Firsty. He's got 2 first names. JJ. J squared.
How much power do you think the 07K will be making? Both horsepower and torque, and I think we need to obviously address that.
You guys have asked too many 07
both
K questions.
An NA and a turbo version?
Mm-hmm. There's a couple different answers to this question. In full NA trim, stock motor going in the car with the 9X engineering intake and using a Gallardo manifold or potentially a modified factory manifold, I'm assuming that crank horsepower will be around 220, so very similar to what a factory 944 turbo would be. So I would think wheel horsepower would be 170s, maybe 180s with a real healthy engine.
Yeah.
On the turbo, basically everything we've researched and understood, a completely factory 07K
I'm pretty sure we've missed like a handful of times of drinking, so.
A completely factory 2.5 VW 5-cylinder with the turbo can make about 400 wheel horsepower reliably. Beyond that, you have to do, you know, the full forged bottom end. And then, I mean, there's guys making 750, 800 wheel horsepower.
Which we could do.
Right, but then you're talking about transaxle issues and axles and et cetera, et cetera.
Yes.
But the engine platform itself, the sky's the limit. Unfortunately, I don't know torque numbers for really any of these setups yet. Doug Barnes asks, how did you fab the bell housing and will you be using the factory transaxle for the 07K car? As far as fabricating the bell housing, we originally went to one of the largest bell housing manufacturers there are for the aftermarket. They gave us an original price point for what they would do for a spun bell housing, and unfortunately by the time they actually made the part and came back, they doubled the price point on us, and it just made it where it wasn't, we just didn't think it was going to be acceptable for anyone to actually buy the part. So Alan went back and he just developed his own bell housing. Alan's an engineer. He literally engineered and designed a helicopter for the company he works for. So
all carbon fiber?
All carbon fiber construction. Like he's a really smart guy. So he ended up developing a bell housing out of all sheet metal, using a bunch of different components with different bends and kind of putting it together origami style and welding it all. So it was really interesting to see it come together. It has been tested digitally, at least, to over 600 foot-pounds of torque, deflection through the torque tube, everything. And you know, it's tested to show that it will hold that much power. It's a pretty girthy piece.
Girth.
That's what she said. Will we be using the factory transaxle? Yes. The NA race car build, I'm going to be using the NA transaxle. I want to see what it can hold up to. There's a lot of different information out there depending on what form you're reading, etc., as to what that transaxle will hold up to. I'm going to find out. I'm going to use it on just the stab it in standard NA. I'm going to continue using it once I do the full NA build. Alan is going to be using his standard 951 transaxle, and we're just going to keep throwing power at both of them until we see what breaks. Charles Bush wants to know, are we going to sell the oil pan for the swap kit? 100%. Last question, and if you're still watching, well, thanks for hanging out with us, and also, if you're still watching and you've been actually playing the game, well, you're probably feeling pretty good right now.
Especially if you paid more attention than we did, because I know we missed. We also had a buzz before we started.
That's very true.
True story.
Back to Tombo Conklin's question.
Tombo!
What is your dream car build with no budget or time constraints? Go.
So, there's a few things on my mind, right?
Well, first, it's hard to narrow it down to one car.
Yeah. One, like if I had to go just one off the top of my head, I feel like I'd go like a Lotus Elise, but Hennessy's already kind of built that into the Venom GT, which I think is amazing, right?
Yeah.
I have a love affair with an 80s Lotus Esprit Turbo.
That's what you're going with?
It's not, but I would love to see that done.
As would I.
there's just something about that. It's like a Diablo, but like
British.
Yeah, British and less.
You can't go wrong with a wedge-shaped car.
Right. What I'm going to go with is also a British car. I'm going to go with an Aston Martin Vanquish. I'm real infatuated with Aston Martin. I don't know what it is. I love the lines. I love the look. I love everything. So I would want to turn a Vanquish into a track car, like a fully built track car.
Right. Like you wanted Aston Martin GT3.
Yeah, or, well, I want like a Valkyrie, but based off of a Vanquish, like DIY is what I'd want. I think that might be mine. Something that, you know, nobody else has done, but really cool.
I'm actually going to come at this two different directions. One is ultimately attainable, and the other is most likely not. So the attainable one would be a Factory 5 Racing Shelby Daytona Coupe with a Ford Coyote engine, independent rear suspension, like a full modernized.
That's a real dream build?
Oh, 100% Shelby Daytona Coupe. So it would
it's great, but
it would look like a vintage race car, but it would perform like a new car.
So I guess that's equivalent to my like Esprit.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's the attainable, which one day I would love to build on this channel.
Yeah.
The ultimate dream car, no budget, no time, no nothing, I think would have to be a Porsche 935 Le Mans replica. There's just something about that classic 911 look with the just most ridiculous bodywork, the giant manual boost control knob on the dash. I just want one. So that's it, guys. Thanks for following along. It's great to have so much participation from you guys. We greatly appreciate you always watching the videos. It's been so much fun to watch this channel grow.
Have we slurred more throughout this video?
I think I just did. But it's been so much
time to finish this video.
It's been so much fun to watch this channel grow. We're so close to 5,000 subscribers. We have the giveaway going on. I'll post that link below. It'll be the very first link. You'll have an opportunity to win some stuff from Flat Six Motorsports, Racing, and Soul Performance Products. Drawing will be on the 4th of July because America. And yeah.
That should always, that's, every drinking game from now on, America is a
10
is
drinks?
a word. 10 drinks.
10?
I can't do 10. I'm going to do,
Let's do
4 for 4th of July.
4 for 4th of July.
Okay.
Thanks for watching, guys.
We'll see you next time.